We are back on Egmont Sochki Tea Talk Train of Thought with a series of an episode with Dr. Sequeira.
Hello.
In the first episode, we have seen an interesting journey. We came to know about the brief about Dr. Sequeira and then how he had started his career. Since being an engineer, he did his engineering in electronic, which was not his passion. Accidentally, I think he got into the engineering. And he started working with an Siemens Limited and then into Nellon Limited as a materials management. Sir, now we would like to know how you have shifted the gear from materials management to an HR role like.
Before I actually moved, I actually was an HR professional. I was a union leader.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This happened
which organization?
This was in Bombay Stock Exchange. There was an episode and I finally got elected to the committee of the Officers Association. I was the vice president of Officers Association. In fact, I led an agitation against the management, signed a collective bargaining deal, and then subsequently over a period of time, decided to study psychology because that is the time I realized that HR and psychology are two areas which were of my interest. And so to put it in a very common parlance, I think I realized where my aim, objective, passion, and understanding, and whatever you call that, the call was pretty late. And after that, I went about doing a formal bachelor's, master's, and then a PhD, and did a lot of did a lot of studies in psychology, and that is where my heart is.
Okay, now your experience about being a union leader, so what was there in your mind?
Nothing, sir.
By being a union
I think probably from that point of time, there were two or three things. One is that probably I always thought that people need to be fair. Secondly, I was young, probably a little bit, more of blood flowing in my veins. And it had so happened that somebody had actually treated me very unfairly. And that was the reason why, I actually went about doing it. But it taught me a lot of things.
It was in the same organization?
It was the same organization. It taught me about people. It taught me about how managements think. It taught me about actually being a leader. Being a union leader is not easy. Because you become a leader because you are elected to that particular position. It's not that you are put in that particular position.
Correct.
And but I had great colleagues over there. I mean, a great friend of mine, Anand Podar, who is currently GM at Bombay Stock Exchange. Another great friend of mine, Amrut Kutino, who is retired. I mean, we had a great group of people who always were very supportive and very nice. Yeah, so that's.
I think by being part of a union, so managing both the management and the workforce. So that was the time when you felt like I need to get deeper into the psychological aspects. And
I actually read a book called Psychology by Barron. And this happened. Somebody gave me that book and I read, and I said, "Wow, yeah, this is so amazing." And that's when I decided to pursue that.
What was the gap after your engineering and when you did your MA in psychology?
Oh, that was around 10 years.
After 10 years, after engineering, you did your psychology.
10 years, it was 10
and
years.
then you did your PG after how many years?
My IM PG was after another 10 years.
After another 10 years.
10 years.
Oh, good. Great. I think the learning path from union, from Bombay Stock Exchange, then you went to ISS Facility Services. What was your role over there?
I was country head, HR over there.
Okay.
And it gave me a large pan-India role to actually talk to, and it essentially was with class 4 workmen and janitors and things like that. It was a great experience. It actually taught me how to go down the line and talk to people who are actually going out there, gardeners, carpenters. It was a Danish company. It is still a great company. It provides, outsourced services. And, it taught me going to different places, challenges in recruitment. In these kind of companies, getting people is a very big challenge. Recruitment, retaining them is a very big challenge. They are as good as, the challenges are similar to any software company. Because these kind of people come from a straight off society where they will switch jobs for $500,000, right? And keeping them engaged, keeping them motivated, that is always a challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think one thing what interesting we have gathered, after doing an engineering in electronics, which was not what I wanted to do, he got into a learning path after a decade, then again after a decade, and then he did his PhD. And now today as a doctor.
My mother was a teacher, sir. I think I have told this to so many people. And I come from a lower middle class family. And the only thing she told me while I was growing up is that you got to study. And I was a typical boy. You know how boys are when they grow up. And I was not very, very bought into that idea that I have to sit and study. But she never gave up on me. I think, and that is from where probably my value for education came. She actually forced me to study, and all this education probably I did was for her.
But आपकी hobbies क्या थी उस time पे?
Oh, I was an athlete. I used to play football. I used to listen to a lot of music. I still do listen to a lot of music, rock music. I used to, read. I used to read quite a lot. Yeah. And those were the hobbies I had that time. Yeah.
But I think working for so many years, the physical fitness, still you're the same like what we have seen Dr. Niels.
Oh yeah, you too. I think I saw you first time when I think that was in 1999 or 2000 probably. Yeah. In the early 2000s, just after Y2K, I was like lecturing at Lala's. You had joined there.
Correct.
I mean, I think you are also the same.
So, how you keep yourself fit?
I think
for TikTok audience,
I think discipline is extremely important. I believe that. So I make it a point to sleep on time, and that has probably that's been my habit since my childhood. I'm never awake after 10:30, and I'm up by 5:30. And I have been going to the same gym. Probably I've got a great bunch of gym buddies out there. We have a group of some 4 or 5 guys who come there every day. And that's the me time that I get, actually, honestly. Where not only do I work out, but we have a lot of fun and we have a lot of frolic. And so that's one of the motivations. And trust me, sir, I believe that, a human being and all professionals especially should take out some time which is for themselves. I mean, that time could be doing anything. Another thing which I have realized over the last, 1 decade working for the healthcare industry is that it's very important to be physically fit. And I'm not saying that you need to have a great physique or, you need to build up muscles, etc. You need to be mobile, you need to be agile, and it makes a lot of difference. I always tell people, what's the point in you building a great career, doing this, doing that, etc. Finally, you're going to be ill, you're going to have problems in your health, and you're not able to enjoy. See, ironically, what do you do in a career? You work your entire life. When your career is at the lower part, you are working so that you want to be there. You're working for money, you're working for fame, etc. You have to be able to enjoy that money. You have to be able to enjoy that fame.
Correct.
For that's the reason why you need to imbibe, physical fitness. You could do anything. I always tell people, you don't need to go to a gym. You could go for a walk, you could do yoga, you could do so many things. But yes, it's extremely, extremely important. I cannot tell you how important it is, because as somebody who's been in the healthcare business, I see patients at the age of 40, 45 having diabetes, high triglycerides, bad cholesterol, fatty liver, I mean, that all happens because you don't pay attention to your health.
Great. I think mentally and physically you need to keep yourself fit. Now we have seen a story of Dr. Neil Sequeira, like how from engineering he started his first job, and now the actual marathon is going to begin. Now when we will see his role as an in LB Express as a vice president in HR in admin, then in Hinduja Hospital as a director, then Kokila Ben Dhirubhai Ambani as a vice president in HR, and now as an COO with Head and Neck Cancer Institute of India. So please catch up on Tea Talk Ek Bund Soch Ki with Dr. Neil Sequeira in our next episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you.